Now, my goal with this channel has always been to find the good in all games. So if you know anything about the reputation of Motocross Championship for the 32X, then you'll know that this is often regarded as one of the worst games for the system. Now, I am not going to start telling you that this game is actually brilliant and that everyone else is wrong, but I do feel like it gets a bad rap because most people's experience with it is getting stuck in a scrum at the start of the race and then repeatedly losing speed by bumping into other riders or falling over in muddy puddles. Those are definitely things that happen in Motocross Championship, but there are ways to circumnavigate these issues if you spend a little time getting used to the controls. Motocross Championship is a 1995 effort from the short-lived Artec Studios. The studio was also responsible for stinkers like Ace of Aces on Master System and Dark Castle on Mega Drive. The game is based around motocross racing, which puts riders in control of a motocross bike that are usually enhanced with softer suspension and off-road tyres for better grip. Riders must race around dirt circuits littered with jumps and rows of small bumps called whoops. Motocross Championship offers a practice mode which allows you to race around the various courses out of competition as a way to get used to them. The season mode requires you to place in the top 3 of each race to progress, and you win money for performing well. This money is then accumulated at the end of the season and can be used to buy new bikes in higher engine classes. 2-player split-screen multiplayer is also available. So how about those races then? Your first experience at a race will be a frustrating one. The handling is very twitchy and hitting other riders or obstacles will slow you down to a crawl. You can actually get a little dirty and punch and kick other riders, road rash style, which is very useful in getting out of the initial scrum as you accelerate away from the start-finish line. The real skill to winning races is avoiding bike wobble. Your bike will wobble when you land off jumps and when you ride through muddy puddles, and this leaves you wide open for a fall if you steer during a wobble. However, learning how to counteract a wobble is exactly how you play this game skillfully. Holding back when you ride over a jump means you maintain a high top speed, and flattening yourself out in the air by tapping up will allow you to land without wobbling and losing that speed. So hold down into the jump and tap up in the air and you will maintain your speed. If you do get a wobble, then do not steer left or right, as you will instantly fall and lose a load of speed. Riding over the section of whoops can also be countered by holding back, which also maintains your speed. These are the main things you need to remember when playing Motocross Championship, and they are essential to winning races. If you can do this well, then you'll find progression through the game is actually quite enjoyable, and not the impenetrable uphill struggle that it feels like when you first play it. However, while getting to grips with the controls does at least make the game somewhat enjoyable, it still suffers from a lackluster presentation. For starters, this is a 32X game that doesn't even use true 3D. They're using a line scrolling effect to generate these tracks, and while it's pretty good at realising all the wild changes in elevation, it comes with a significant performance hit. The poor frame rate certainly makes the whole thing feel a bit unresponsive, but I find that it's at least manageable, just not ideal. The artwork is a strange mix of pixel art for the riders, objects and spectators, but with digitised background images that don't really match. We've also got a pretty nasty gems powered soundtrack that tries to give the game some edge, but it just makes the whole thing sound pretty abrasive and annoying. To be honest, outside of the sprite scaling, there is very little here that makes you think this game couldn't have been achieved on a stock Mega Drive, which is not something you want to realise when you're using your new expensive 3D add-on that promises advanced arcade-like visuals. Then there's the choice of camera angle, which I feel is placed a little too close to the ground, making it kind of difficult to judge the corners at first. If this could have been placed a little higher, it could have helped give players a clearer view of what is coming up on the circuits. So there's a bunch of negatives here, but despite these I've definitely found myself having a decent time with Motocross Championship once I got a handle on its control scheme. It is definitely not a great game, but I think it's unfairly maligned simply because it doesn't make a great first impression. Racing fans may get a kick out of this one if you spend some time learning its idiosyncrasies.